Before we jump in today's video, I just want to remind everybody that I'm not a financial advisor. So this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as financial, investment, or trading advice. All investments involve risk, and you should do your own research or consult with a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions. Just remember, past performance is not indicative of future results. Is a daily snowball portfolio working for you? Hey everybody, it's Paul here on my channel, Better Call Paul. And today we're going to take a quick look at my daily snowball / monthly snowball portfolio. And we're going to find out whether or not it's working. And if it's not working, why is it not working? So let's quickly jump into my first spreadsheet. I want to show you everything I've been keeping track of for the last few months, and we'll see where things are at today. All right, guys, so here we are in my daily snowball portfolio. You can see I have 5 positions that I'm supposed to be buying weekly. I'm currently only buying 1, and I'll explain why. So I still have 75 shares of WPay. I put in $4,000 worth, and this makes up 17%. I have 50 shares of YBTC, and that cost me $18.88, and it's 8% of my portfolio. I have 324 shares of QDTE. So this makes up 57% of my portfolio. I put in just over $13,000. I have 100 shares of blocks now. It cost me $2,500. It's a little over 10% of my portfolio. And MSTW, I only have 70 shares, $1,500, 6.5% of my portfolio. So this is the only position that I'm currently adding to for a couple of reasons. The share price is very low, so it's not that expensive to buy 10 shares. And this one, I'm down the most. So I'm getting, I guess, the best bang for my buck, but also I'm able to lower my average cost. So you can see 3 weeks ago, my average cost was $25.84. After I bought 10 more shares, it dropped to $23.21. I bought another 10 shares today, and it dropped it down to $21.46. So I'm going to keep buying this one until it gets to 100 shares, and then I'm going to decide whether or not I will keep adding to it, or maybe I'll start buying some more YBTC. All right, guys, as you already know, or for anybody who's new to the channel, I am tracking these 4 newer positions. So I have blocks, MSTW, WPay, YBTC. What I do is I keep track of how many shares I have, of the book cost, of the current value, and then you can see they're all currently at a loss. So this is an unrealized loss. I have my average price per share, and then I have my yield on cost. Now this changes every week as the distribution changes, so I update it every once in a while. I also keep track of all the distributions. So you can see I decided to add up all the ones in 2025, so it didn't have like 4 or 5 different entries. And now I'm going month by month for 2026. You can see down at the bottom here, all my dividends are in green because that's the only money I've made. But there's the unrealized loss, total unrealized loss once you subtract the dividends, and then currently what the loss is. So as I said, YBTC here is only negative 750. I think this was about negative 11%. So this one's improved a bit. WPay is not too bad. Blocks is not too bad, but MSTW was about minus 50 before I bought the extra 20 shares and collected some more dividends. So the goal is to get all of these into the green. Now, 3 of them, probably actually all 4 of them, blocks is affected by Bitcoin and Ethereum. MSTW is affected by Bitcoin and MSTR. Right? WPay has MSTW in it, but it also has other ETFs that are affected by crypto. And YBTC, of course, is affected by crypto. So when Bitcoin rebounds, right? When Bitcoin goes on its next run and hopefully breaks its all-time high, we will get a chance to see whether or not these ETFs are going to recover. And if at that time they don't recover, I will probably sell out of some of them. All right, here we are in my weekly spreadsheet, not my weekly spreadsheet, but this is shows all the distributions for the week. So for blocks, you can see that has been pretty consistent the last 4 weeks between 12 and 13 cents. So it's up slightly this week. MSTW has been coming down. So 21 cents to 16, now to 13 cents. So that's not very good. WPay has also been coming down, but it did go up last week to 40 cents, but unfortunately back down to 30 cents this week. YBTC had a few really good weeks at the end of the year where I think they had to pay out the extra distributions they had earned or the extra premium or unrealized gains that they had to pay out. So there was a couple of real high weeks, and then it went back down to 19 cents. This week was a good week at 28 cents. Alti seems to have kind of found a bit of a zone where a couple weeks ago it did pay 57 cents, but then since then, 48, 47, and now 51 cents. I think it's better for Alti to pay a little bit less, maybe even reduce their distribution rate down to maybe between 40 and 50% instead of having it over 60, and try to keep the NAV stable. I am tracking this one and I will show you that. You can see here I put total return beside YMAX because I'm tracking this one as well. It has not been doing, distribution-wise, it hasn't been doing great. 9 cents, 10 cents, 8 cents, and 8 cents again. YMAG was doing pretty well, but all of a sudden kind of tanked. So last week it was 5 cents, this week 6 cents. So not as good as I would like to see YMAG doing. QDTE, just like YBTC, had a couple of really good weeks at the end of the year and then dropped down to 15 cents and now 11 cents. So, but I mean, you got to take into consideration it paid $1.91 and it paid $1.72. So between these two distributions, I think we got close to 10 weeks worth of income. RDTE, same thing, was a pretty good 39 cents and then $1.08. Now it's back to normal. 17 cents last week and 14 cents this week is not great, but it's not too bad. Misty, this is the last single stock ETF I have from Yield Max, and I probably won't keep it through the end of the year, but for right now, I'm just trying to break even on it. So it was 51 cents at the end of the year, then 40, up to down to 37, and back up to 41. So not too bad this week. So you can see my total for this week is $315 Canadian or 431 US. Sorry, that's backwards. 315 US, 431 Canadian. All right, you can see here that my average in 2025 ended the year at 902. And now my average per week is very low compared to that, cut in half, 455 last week and 431 this week. And then the average between the 2 weeks is 443. Now, the reason why it was cut this low is because I sold off quite a few individual ETFs, individual stock ETFs from Yield Max, like Coney, NVIDIA, AMZ. So those ones were paying me weekly. So now I don't have as many weekly pairs as I used to. And I put some of that money into monthly pairs just to have better NAV stability and more consistent income over the long run. So this week I did purchase another 50 shares of TDAQ. So I'm now up to 350 shares. I felt like this was a better place to put my money instead of putting it back into some of these ultra high yielders. This year, what I'm doing a little bit different than last year is I'm keeping track of these monthly pairs as well. You can see I have 300 shares of SPY-T, and here's the last 3 distributions and the average. So this month it paid me $73.32, but now I have more shares, so next month will pay me $93.48. T-SPY, I have 500 shares. You can see the monthly distribution is very consistent, and it paid me $151. Week 3, so next week on January 21st, I'm going to get, let's go through this. I have 350 shares now, so the distribution, you can see 37 cents. Again, very, very consistent, right? So this is what I'm aiming for now, as opposed to the ones that go up and down, wild swings every week. So I will get 130.94 on January 21st, unless I buy 50 more shares before January 20th, and then I'll get a little bit more. So in week 4, I have AIPI, which I have 200 shares still. Again, you can see the distribution here is pretty consistent at $1.20, and it'll pay me $241. So far I've collected 286. This includes the money I got paid from QQQT, which I have now sold. So that was the last time it will pay me. All right, I just wanted to show you guys quickly. I had kept track of all the dividends that I received from QQQY. So you can see the total was $965. My book cost was $4,770. So if you add up, if you subtract the current value at the time that I sold, then it was negative $737. But if you add in all of the dividends, I ended up being positive $228, which is really not that good when you consider the length of time that I held this ETF. But anyways, I got rid of QQQY just because I had way too many NASDAQ ETFs. Like I said, I'm keeping track of Alti and YMAX just so I can determine whether I should hold on to these or if I should sell them, right? So as of November 11th, I had 90 shares of Alti with a book cost of $46.74. The current price now is $37.59. Now I'm up to 102 shares because I've been dripping it. I've had it on drip. So the current value is $38.35. You can see I'm still negative 839. Yeah, $839 is what I'm currently negative. So this is what I've received in dividends so far since I started tracking this in November. And this is how many shares I've been able to drip. So for YMAX, I first bought YMAX March 21st, 2024. I bought one share. Since then, I've bought 1,000 shares. So this is my book cost, over 17,000. Current price is 10.06. So my current value is $10,060. So my total return or unrealized loss is $7,374. But in between 2024 and 2025, it did pay me $8,530 in dividends or distributions. So far this year, on the 2nd, it paid me 106, then 88, and then 80. So in total, I've received 8,805. So right now, I'm up $1,421. I do have one more chart for YMAX just to make it a little bit easier to see. So when I looked at this earlier today, you can see I kept track of all the dividends up until the 2024, then 2025, and now in 2026, right? So if you take the total that I've received in dividends, subtract what it was negative, and this changes all the time, right? Every time the price of YMAX changes, the amount that I'm negative changes. But as of the 15th yesterday, when the market closed, I was up 1,424. So you could see on the 2nd of January, I was up 1285. On the 8th of January, I was up 1403. And on the 15th, I was up 1424. So what I'm hoping to see is this to continue trending upwards. If it keeps trending upwards, then I'll hold on to YMAX. If it starts going down the other way, then it'll be time to sell my YMAX. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. But I just wanted to point out the fact that this is not my entire portfolio. This is a portion of my portfolio. About 90% of it is in my RRSP. These are US listed, obviously. And, I don't want anybody to think that my entire portfolio is in these, weekly paying ultra high yield risky ETFs. I do have a lot of money invested in safer covered call ETFs that pay consistently, have NAV appreciation and capital gains, unrealized gains, and are doing quite well. So, these are some of the more riskier investments I have that we talk about in this series. Also, trying to grow it as a daily, weekly, monthly snowball portfolio and see how it goes. Unfortunately, I did start this series more seriously in October, buying some of my new positions like blocks and YBTC and MSTW and even WPay that were greatly affected by the crypto chill. So those particular ETFs took a big hit, and you can see that in the unrealized losses. But I'm not panicking. I'm not giving up on them. I'm going to hold on to them at least until Bitcoin itself recovers. And once it reaches its all-time highs again, we'll see how these perform. And if they don't perform well, then that's either the fund managers are not actively trading well, or just the strategy is no good. So if that's the case, then we'll eliminate them, or I will eliminate them one by one from my portfolio. But please don't take this as financial advice. You guys have to figure out what ETFs you want to hold. If you want to hold any high yielding ETFs, yeah, it's basically it's your decision. It's not my decision for what you guys should hold, what your risk tolerance is. I know what my risk tolerance is, and to be honest, I'm trying to lower my risk tolerance and invest more money in ETFs like T-SPY, like TDAQ, that are more NAV stable, and you can see that in the share price. Over time, I don't need as much volatility. I would prefer to have more stable payments and predictability. All right, guys, thanks again for watching, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. So until next time, bye for now.